Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do some baking. So hopefully you'll find this good fun. I also am going to be doing more make your own beauty treatments too. So I think they lend themselves quite nicely to each other. So they're falling into beauty but also moving into lifestyle. So thought today would be a nice easy one, and it is a fruit loaf. Sometimes people call them a tea loaf, fruit cake. They're so easy. And I don't know if it's more of a UK thing, but they're nice and cinnamony. You've got a bit of allspice in them, and they're great with a cup of tea. Funny thing is, I never used to eat things like this when I was younger, but I also didn't drink tea till I was in my late teens, early 20s. But now, just a lovely bit of cinnamony, spicy fruit loaf. Don't even need it buttered, but it can be really nice when it's warm, and it's magic. So we're going to do it today. It's so simple, and you can let me know what you think. So your oven is going to go on at 180 degrees Celsius. I'll put in the description what that is in Fahrenheit and your gas marks. I have also got our loaf tin, and it's got some greaseproof paper in it just for convenience, because then you can just lift the cake out. But if you want to, you can just grease it with some oil or some butter. That's completely up to you. Then we've got 225 mils of tea that I've just stewed, and obviously the tea bag's out of it now. Then we've got 250 grams of mixed fruit. You can buy that so easily in the supermarket. It's basically raisins and sultanas, and it's got a little bit of dried orange peel, I believe, in it. But again, it's up to you what you put in. We've got 125 mils of oil. This is vegetable oil, but you can switch that out for butter or margarine. I just think sometimes with the oil, it makes it a bit lighter and just a nicer experience. Sometimes butter's gorgeous, but can make it a little bit heavy. Then we've got a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. I've got a generous tablespoon of allspice, but the truth is I could easily put in double that. So I'd say put in as much allspice or even just cinnamon on its own if that's your preference. Put in as much as you like. Then we have got 100 grams of soft brown sugar and 250 grams of self-raising flour. So I'm just going to move some things out of the way so we can get started, but it's a really simple one just to get started with. It really doesn't take much to do. So we will take our mixed fruit, and you've got your warm tea. And the theory is that you can just leave it to soak. Some people will actually leave it to soak overnight, so the choice is yours. But what we're going to do is pour in the brown sugar to it and give it all a nice little mix. Now, again, you'll see recipes where they'll do a lot more sugar. I could actually be tempted to put in less sugar, because for me, if you can adjust your taste buds, there's sweetness in that mixed fruit. So if you can get yourself into almost like a taste bud training where you gradually decrease your sugar, maybe even 10 or 15 grams a time, you'll find the balance that works for you. As much as baking is science and is chemistry, I do believe when it comes to sugar, you can play around with the amount and find what's right for you. So the sugar is dissolved in. And again, what some people would choose to do if you want is actually just leave that fruit for even 10 minutes and just let it soak in, but you don't have to do that. So I'm going to pour in the oil. And again, if it wasn't oil and you were doing your butter or your margarine, then your choice would be to maybe make it small chunks and just mix it in slowly until you actually get a nice mix and you know that you don't have any bits of butter remaining in it, any lumps. You don't want that. Right, so we've given that a nice mix. Now we might come back to our spoon, so have it to hand. Next, I'm going to pop in the bicarb and the mixed spice, and I'll use my wooden spoon here just to get the odds out. Do you ever watch cooking programs and you see that they've left some in the bowl? Don't ask me why, but that drives me bananas. So I'll always make sure that everything is out of the bowl. I just cannot bear when there's like a lone bit of veg sitting there or a bit of pasta. No, it all has to go. Don't know if that's me. I can be a bit OCD, and that's not even saying it lightly. I genuinely sometimes can't settle until certain things are in their place. And that for me, baking, see if there was a lone raisin in that dish, I would have to get it in there. So I'm very gently just mixing the flour, basically the dry into the wet. Now you can sift your flour if you want, but with this type of cake you don't really need to. It's just about making sure that everything is mixed together. That's your goal. And it's going to be not too wet. You know, sometimes your batters can be very runny. This will not be too runny. But I always enjoy this. And you need to let me know who licks the bowl, because I personally don't think that you're ever too old to lick the bowl. It's just something that's so nice. It's so much of a treat. And if anyone would like to know my cooking credentials, this is a joke, but it's also true, and it just makes me laugh. I didn't go to chef school, didn't go to catering college, but I did win top of the year for home economics when I was 12. So there you go, that's my credentials. And I'm sticking by that because that was the entire year of school, first year of high school, beat everyone. Don't know how many people, maybe about 300 people. So there you go. Who needs Michelin stars when you've won top of the year for home economics? That's it. Throwing down the gauntlet. Who can beat that? I'm going to pass over the fact that I didn't win it the next year, because you've got to let everyone have a chance. Now, I'm quite happy with that. If you overmix cakes, if you overmix anything, then the result will be a heavier cake. It will be more dense. So I'm just very gently moving my wooden spoon just along the bottom, just to make sure that I haven't missed anything. And I'm also just double checking that the fruit is evenly spread through. And I'm quite happy with that. So move on to the loaf tin. And now I'll actually move it sideways. And now it's just a case of getting it in nice and even. Again, you've got air in there, so you don't want to mess about with your cake batter too much. But I can already smell the allspice, which is lovely. But if you weren't keen on cinnamon or allspice, then you can make a fruit cake, and it'll just be, the batter will be more like a traditional sponge cake. And it'd be more like a traditional, I was going to say fairy cakes, but have you not noticed people don't really make fairy cakes anymore? Kind of fallen out of favour. Right, I'm quite happy with that. So that's nice and even. And now this is going to go into our oven for around about an hour. Now I say that because everyone's oven is different, so you need to check yourself. And it can be an hour, it can be 1 hour 15. Sometimes if it's fan assisted, it can be a bit less, but it should have a rise to it. Should go golden brown, but you know you can put a skewer, or if you don't have a skewer, a knife in the middle and out, just to see if the knife is still wet or the skewer is still wet, then you know it's not cooked. What you might find is it starts cooking from the outside into the middle. So if you try the outside and the knife or the skewer comes out clean, then you know that you're getting there with your cooking. And if you've got a situation where it's getting quite brown and you can tell that certain parts are cooking but the middle's still wet, then you can put some tin foil around those parts and leave the uncooked portion exposed, and that should cook without burning the remainder. So we're going to pop it in for an hour, and then I will let you know how it's getting on. It might be ready, it might need a bit longer, time will tell. So let's skip through and we'll see you in an hour. Okay, so that's us. We've had 1 hour and 15 minutes in the oven, and when I checked it at an hour, it wasn't quite ready. But just to let you see, in the middle, there's nothing there. Edges, nothing there. You can see that, so that's cooked through, that's what you're looking for. If there was any raw cake mix on the knife, then you know that you've got to put it in for a bit longer, and at 1 hour, it was actually still raw cake mix at the edges, so that lets you know it needed that 15 minutes. So it's been out for about 5. I'm going to lift it out. Now the truth is, you should probably leave your cakes to cool down, but just for impatience, I'm going to let us see how it looks now. Now, who genuinely loves a bit of cake fresh out the oven? You can't help it, it's lovely. This is one of those cakes though that the next day and the day after and the day after it gets nicer and nicer. So you can enjoy eating it on day one, but cut it up or just keep it as it is in an airtight container and you will genuinely enjoy it each day. It will just get nicer and a little bit richer, and that depth of the spice in it just becomes so nice. So this isn't the correct knife to use, but I'm just going to go for it and just cut a slice off just to see how it looks. But bear in mind, I should really be using a different knife, but just going for it. It is a bit of a crumblier cake, but that's okay, we don't mind. And then I'll very, very carefully just open it up for you to see. Can you see it is still really hot? I should be letting it cool a bit more. But can you see that? And what I'll do is I'll actually take a picture once it's cooled down. I'll cut you a slice and let you see. But that's how it's looking. It's just lovely and fruity. So I'll let it cool, cut you a slice and let you see it just in a still. But I'm going to eat this slice just as it is. It is too hot, but I don't care. And then even a bit heated up the next day in the microwave or a bit with butter, it's actually so nice. And I was actually looking at the recipe again, and I'm pretty sure, I know it's definitely eggless, but I'm pretty sure it actually falls under the vegan category too. Just when I looked at all the ingredients, I realised it doesn't look as if there's anything in it that wouldn't make it vegan, so that's an accident. It wasn't intentional, but I think that does actually fall into the vegan friendly category. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you try it or if you've got your own recipe, and I will see you again soon.